the best way for us to learn is firstly from our mistakes, but then secondly from other people's mistakes. So I'm glad you're open about sharing it, because people could definitely learn a lot from what you've been through, what's happened to you, and just your whole life story. So going from lawyer to gambler, how did that transition happen? What really made you could say, fake fall in love with gambling? Because when I watch YouTube, I see a lot of people promoting gambling sites, all that kind of stuff, like casino games, all those kind of things. I myself play some poker, like once a week, just for fun. But I see a lot more of these gambling commercials, gambling sponsors, and in my head, when I first thought of that, and I first saw it, I'm like, you got these big platforms promoting gambling and to the wide public, and you have kids, people that are 18 years old that not really sure what they're getting themselves into, but playing poker, I understand the rush of winning a hand or winning some chips, or gambling and winning, and it does become a little bit addicting. So you do have to control yourself in a sense, that it's easy to fall in the trap of just chasing that gambling high. So what really made you fall into that trap of gambling, and how did you transition from a lawyer to having this issue with gambling?
Well, that's a very good question, and I'll answer it this way. Even at a young age, in middle school, my uncle was played a gambler. He played cards, and I would go over to his house and spend the nights with his wife and the kids, and while at his house, they would start some little card game. And so I learned basically how to play every card game you could possibly think of. Okay. And of course, obviously, my mom was living in New York, so she would always send me a little spinning change. And so I had always had a little spinning change, and we would play for nickels, dimes, or whatever. That wasn't a problem. It was just fun. I gambled with pool, became a really what I would call a pool shop. Even during my senior year in high school, going through college, I always liked to do that. So, but I never had a problem with it. It was okay. I was fine with it. Got out of law school and started practicing law, and I was working with some lawyers who every Wednesday, I noticed they were not in the office. And so I asked the secretary, I said, where are they? Every Wednesday they would leave. And she said, well, they just right across the streets, man. They got a little poker game they're into. And so I said, oh, okay. He said, you can go over there with them and check them out. So one Wednesday, I just walked across the street where it was playing, and they asked me to, look, you want to learn this game? I said, yeah. And I started playing poker. Well, being someone who would always gamble, play pool with all kinds of cards, it was another little interest that I had, and I kind of fell in love with it. I liked it. And of course, they started playing for pretty large size money. And of course, as I learned the game, I became more fascinated. I thought I was getting pretty good. I won money. I lost money. It was no problem because we always gambled with professionals. They were the lawyers, barsmen, barbers in the areas. So nobody ever got broke that didn't get some money. And that might have been one of the problems that we were facing, because we were always able to get more money. So if I, lost all I had and I needed to borrow another $500, I could get it. Same thing with them. If I was a winning that night and they needed another $500,000, they got it. Okay. That's the way we played. So we were up and down. We actually made money gambling. We lost money gambling, but it was just fun. We had a little circle, and we went to different homes. And of course, it was just like really good therapy, because the spouses or the girlfriends of the guys would have big spreads, would have all kind of drinks, and so you ate and you took a drink. If you were tired and sleepy, you took your nap and you got up and once you rested out, you got back into the game, and somebody else lost some money, they got up and did the same thing. And we could do that all the whole weekend, and that's what we did. I've left the office on a Friday evening rather, and went to a pole game and didn't get back until early Monday morning. That's just the way we play. And it was really fun. Everybody was okay. Until it got to another point in my life, it was like I began to have the love for it. It was just like I didn't know when to get up, when to stop. It wasn't like that when I first got started, but then it got to that place that I was just wanted to be there. I just kept playing. And until I knew anything, I was going downhill. I borrowed money. I borrowed money on homes. I borrowed money from loan sharks. I did all of this kind of stuff until actually I had basically lost everything. I always say I went straight to the bottom. And that's when I committed this awesome, gruesome crime that I, will always regret. But I'm over it. I don't wallow in it. And so that's how it happened. But I always thought I was a compulsive gambler. And so when I wrote my first book, Deal by Me, A Golden Opportunity to Blow, I talked about it because I thought I was a compulsive gambler. But then in the midst of all of it after I was out, I didn't go to a place, but I did call Gambling Anonymous. Then a place here in Chapel Hill where a lot of the guys, women went who had considered themselves compulsive gamblers. And it operated very much like Gambling Anonymous. It's not, Alcohol Anonymous. It was basically Gambling Anonymous. And when I called a guy, told him I would like to come over and talk to the people, first thing he asked me was, he said, are you still a compulsive gambler? And I said, no. And he said to me, well, I don't know if the guys would appreciate hearing from you because we believe that once a gambler, always a gambler. Well, I knew that was not me, okay? Because I knew that I had no urge for it anymore. It was all over. I had not gambled since 1981. So I knew it was it. So when writing my second book, what I call the second edition of the Deal by Me, and I gave it a subtitle of a self-evaluation. And I was really doing it was like talking about what I learned from what I went through. And I concluded that my problem was not a compulsive gambler, but my problem was I was afraid to fail. And that's where I ended up at. And I came to that conclusion, as a result, I had been this first and only African-American lawyer practiced in my hometown. I was the youngest African-American lawyer practiced in North Carolina. Everybody was looking up to me. I'm not boasting, but I was an excellent lawyer. I had good clients. I was making good money. But the gambling caused me to lose everything, and I just saw myself at the bottom, and I couldn't take it. It was just like I didn't want to fail, and I thought that what I did would get me right back up, that I could take the money, pay off debts, and I could get started right back off again, and everything will be fine. Now, I know that's not the way it would work, but that's my thinking at that particular time. And so that's what happened to me. It's something that, I wish it was different, but you can't go back and put the water back in in the jar. It's already been spilled. So I deal with it and I work. And I must say my life is great. I'm doing some great things. I've been blessed. So I don't have any real complaints. There are many times in my life when I feel as if this is really where I'm supposed to be anyway. So I'm comfortable. I still got all my good friends. I have lawyer friends who knew me when I was practicing law. They're still my friends. We still eat together. We go out together. We have fun talking. They call me one of the people who died or got sick or something. We all go to the funeral together. So we're all good friends. I got good ministers and pastors, and they are all good friends of mine. So I'm living the joy of my life. I'm really having a great time. So I can't complain about anything.